Safe and effective? Well, it depends on who you ask. The latest data seems to contradict some of the previous narratives that we've come to believe. Let's dig into this story. So there was an explosive revelation by a Pfizer executive admitting that the vaccine wasn't tested on preventing transmission before the rollout because we had to move at the speed of science. So this pharmaceutical executive was brought before the European Union Parliament to testify in place of the CEO Albert Bourla on Monday, admitting that the company did not know whether the shots would prevent COVID transmission before they were rolled out globally, which could have been potentially useful info unless you're in the pharmaceutical industry and you're trying to make profits on your product. And here we have the Dutch representative Rob Roos confronting this executive in a COVID hearing. The Pfizer director admits the vaccine was never tested on preventing transmission. Get vaccinated for others was always a lie. See, they had to guilt trip you into this, make you feel bad. It's not for you. You got a 99.7%. But what if you're around grandma? You love your grandma, don't you? Make sure you get vaccinated so you can protect those loved ones. He also brings up an excellent point. The only purpose of the passport was forcing people to take the vax. The world needs to know. Please share this video. Roll clip.
In a COVID hearing in the European Parliament, one of the Pfizer directors just admitted to me, at the time of introduction, the vaccine had never been tested on stopping the transmission of the virus. This removes the entire legal basis for the COVID passport. The COVID passport that led to massive institutional discrimination as people lost access to essential parts of society. I find this to be shocking, even criminal. Please watch the video until the end.
Voor u, mevrouw Small, heb ik de volgende vraag waar ik een duidelijk antwoord op wil. And I will speak in English so there are no misunderstandings. Was the Pfizer COVID vaccine tested on stopping the transmission of the virus before it entered the market? If not, please say it clearly. If yes, are you willing to share the data with this committee? And I really want a straight answer, yes or no, and I'm looking forward to it. Thank you very much.
Regarding the question around, did we know about stopping immunisation before it's entered the market? No. We had to really move at the speed of science to really understand what is taking place in the market.
This is scandalous. Millions of people worldwide felt forced to get vaccinated because of the myth that you do it for others. Now this turned out to be a cheap lie. This should be exposed. Please share this video.
Well, tough moment for Janine Small in the hot seat to say, we had to really move at the speed of science to really understand what is taking place in the market. And from that point of view, we had to do everything at risk. And I think Dr. Bourla, even though he's not here, I wonder what he was up to. He didn't want to answer those questions. He didn't want to be on the hot seat, so he passed the thing off to one of his minions. Or maybe he's got COVID again. Who knows? And Bourla should be there because Pfizer did claim months after the rollout that it was 100% effective in preventing COVID-19, which was a total lie. We just didn't realize it until much later. And how many people took the jab thinking that it was 100% effective? And here you have a tweet from him saying the updated analysis with the study showed that it was 100% effective in cases in South Africa, 100%. But as you do notice, maybe there's a loophole there because it was on April 1st. Was that an April Fool's joke, perhaps? A legal loophole that he's trying to weasel out of? Maybe, maybe not. But the point is they still perpetuated this thing, and people have potentially been hurt from this. So they claim that because trial participants did not catch COVID over the few months that they were monitored, it means that it was effective at preventing transmission, which was utter nonsense and the definition of junk science. Yeah, these things usually take years to study, but they brought that thing out very quickly. They got the data they wanted, and they basically thrust it on the people of the whole planet, trying to get everybody jabbed that they could. So usually clinical trials are slow, arduous processes for a reason, and moving at the speed of science in this case meant skipping much needed trials to determine whether these mRNA shots had genuine long-term effectiveness, and instead rushing untested experimental mRNA gene therapy technology out at warp speed, and then vaccinating the placebo group to destroy the trial's results so the real effectiveness of your shots can never be known. Genius. So as the masses were forced to take the shots in order to go to work or school and were not properly informed of the potential risks in order to give proper informed consent, what took place was really a crime against humanity without precedent. And the worst part about this whole rushed rollout was giving it to kids when they knew full well that they were at the lowest risk. And now you're seeing a huge spike in health problems amongst these young kids, and you're watching the media desperately trying to spin this, placing these normal activities and trying to say that they are triggering potential heart issues. And in this latest study, it's going to be about video games, this out of the New York Post, saying video games might seem like a sedentary activity, but the adrenaline rush that they give can trigger deadly heart rhythms in susceptible children in a landmark new study. Yeah, who paid for this? So games can cause an uncommon but distinct pattern of rhythmic heartbeats, which has even caused death in some kids with cardiac issues. So they really want you to believe that if your kid gets a heart attack, it might be from the video game, but it's certainly not from the experimental vaccine that he was forced to take to go to school. The experts warn that children who experience blackouts while gaming, like this is a normal thing, like yeah, so many kids are blacking out. They want to warn the parents, hey, it's probably a heart issue caused from your video game. As if that's ever happened before. All of a sudden they're trying to normalize it as though kids are playing war games and they're blacking out, and it's caused from the video game, or is it caused by the Pfizer jab they took? I was saying we already know that some children have heart conditions that can put them at risk when playing competitive sports, but we were shocked to discover some patients were having life-threatening blackouts during video games. Well, there you have it. Now it looks like there is a major cover-up going on with these jabs that they rushed out into production, got everybody to take them right away, even though they didn't seem necessary, but it was to try to protect other people, whether they could go, shopping, whether they could go into restaurants. They had to get a passport and carry it everywhere to show their proof of vaccination. And then when the first wave didn't work, then they got everybody to take a booster and then a second booster, and they're going to try to set up more boosters as we continue. But then we started noticing a pattern that the people that were getting COVID were the ones that were already jabbed. So it's an alarming possibility that it's weakening people's immune systems. Of course, the worst part was the kids who did not have fully informed consent and did not know the dangers of this. And these pharmaceutical companies and government officials and media need to be held to account for what they were trying to push on the world's population, doing everything they could to basically force as many people as possible to take this. Meanwhile, they're desperately trying to spin all of the adverse side effects and even deaths, and now we've got young kids having issues with heart problems. It's a major setback for society as people are going to lose their trust in some of these institutions. So hopefully there's a solution out there somewhere that we'll find and make a medical breakthrough and heal anybody who's been damaged from these jabs potentially. I'm not sure, but we'll try to be optimistic. Meantime, we'll see what develops. But thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time.